promoting your business, I'm just going to say it now. I'm going to call it. Yes, go ahead and do that. We have zero opposition to you promoting the business that you've invested in.
Yeah. I mean, there should be nobody more excited than the actual owner of that facility, right?
Exactly.
So you could start it as early as you want, quite honestly. Not only is it going to make you appreciate the work that goes into it, you're going to love it, you'll feel more connected to your business, but you're going to be able to teach and hold your team accountable because you've already done it.
Maddie, what's up?
What's going on, man?
You, buddy. Back in the Beats Lab, as always.
Back in the Beats Lab, is that what you named it?
Yeah.
Straight from Step Brothers?
Straight from Step Brothers. That's right. Did you touch my drum set?
That was actually, somebody quoted that on our group chat in the owners the other day.
What did they call it? The Beats Lab?
I think it was Kale, actually.
Oh, that makes sense.
You touch my drum set?
Did you touch my drum set? Yes, you did.
It's always good to have a good sense of humor.
Chip in his drumstick. Like, oh, why are you so sweaty?
It's a classic.
I was watching Cops.
I was watching Cops, yeah.
No, you weren't. Cops comes on at 4:30. The best movie ever.
Want to just do quotes of that movie the whole time?
Yeah, let's do that.
We don't need any content.
Is it Pan thing?
You're the one who hit Derek.
Hello, Miss Lady. Yeah, Derek. Are you the one that struck Derek? Oh, my God. All right. In all seriousness.
Do you got a dad joke?
Exactly, right? I do. You go first.
I like mine today. This is good.
All right.
What did the daddy buffalo say to his son when he left work?
I don't know.
Bye, son.
Oh, God.
Come on, that was
not bad. It's beautiful in its simplicity. How about that, man?
That's me.
I've got one that's pretty relevant for what's going on right now. So, what does a 747 say when it bounces down the runway?
Yikes! I don't know.
Boeing, Boeing, Boeing. Boing, boing, boing,
Yours was
boing,
so
boing,
much
boing.
more sophisticated than mine.
I know. I like current events. It's like it's a big deal right now. Planes flying upside down. Running off the runway. Anyway, what we are going to talk about is training. And so what do we offer for training? And we're actually going to break it down into two parts because we want anyone looking at an alloy or getting ready to come to training, even if it's club number 2, what our lens is on training. A lot of this is what we offer, as training. And I think the more, the better. And there's 2 segments for us. There's like things that have to happen, not only structurally or tactically, but also from a mindset standpoint before you come to training. And then while you're actually here, for that 4 or 5 days that we talk about. So we're going to cover that in 2 parts just so we don't run on too long on this. And so today, obviously, if we do it chronologically, we're going to talk about, I guess we could call it pre-training, but let's just think about this continuum from, there are functions happening in the construction process that are triggers for things to happen in the business function process. And all of them include getting your mind right, getting your team in place, and all the things to get here to training. And again, there's some things you have to do before you get here, but it'll give anyone that hasn't been through it an idea of what we do and what we offer, which is very robust. Anyone that has been through it, it might reiterate like why you went through it and what the mindset should still be in your business. Because I think a lot of the frameworks we're setting up now are things that should continue for the lifespan of your business. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, what we have now, and we're always constantly trying to improve all processes because that's just who we are. It's something we've been working on now really for the last 5 years, which is pretty cool. And what we have now, we feel pretty good about it. And it's built off kind of what you said, triggers to give you the best chance to be successful.
That's a great way to put it.
It's just kind of like, we've done it enough. We have... at this point, over 100 clubs, opener and pre-sale, right? So we've been through this journey quite a bit. And to what you said, it's a series of things. So like, if you roll back, you buy a franchise and you have a development schedule, right? So you get with us and we start you on that journey to start finding a location, et cetera, which you've talked in other podcasts about that. And that's typically with, Jared and his team. They're going to help you find a space and then start the permitting and construction, all the stuff that goes in that. Once Jared and his team feel good about your pace and where you're going to be, which is typically 2 to 3 months out, he'll know when you're going to be in your space, when construction's going to start, and forecast when it should finish. That's when you get handed over onto my team, where we have a series of things that we're going to do with you before you even come to the franchise training.
Okay. Well, let's start there. You're the master. You built the plan. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, like overall, what we're trying to do, again, like trying to give you the best chance to be successful. All right. That's us. So what we know is we want to be able to get you to start a pre-sale with a almost completed or completed facility, because a lot of what we do is in-person sales appointment, starting point sessions. It's all starts right there. But in reality, we actually start your pre-sale much earlier, which I'll get into.
Yeah, well, right, and in the past, we have had, the reason we have tweaked our process is because we found, which seems obvious, but we found that selling for something that is yet to exist physically, that you can't tangibly step into or put your hands on, it certainly can be done. It's just a bit more difficult than selling in a brick and mortar facility that people can see, put their hands on it, see the equipment, meet the people face to face. It's a different level of sales. And I would say it's much easier to sell in person than over the phone.
Well, I mean, it's not even just that, honestly. I mean, that's part of it, part of why we made the decision to change the timeline. But like, first part is like, we don't want to have a double edge, like two-sided sales process where I sell you and then I have to sell you again, essentially, right? Like, so we kind of took that piece out. It's just sign up and go. That's there. And the other thing is, in the world of permitting and construction, nothing ever goes perfectly. So if we play that game where we're like trying to perfectly get you in and we know they're going to start here, we've seen where that can totally backfire.
Right. People get pushed back from some permitting or something that we were out of our control, out of their control, actually, but still not fun.
Yeah, which it's not a perfect science, that's never going to be. But again, we're trying to give you the best chance.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it comes from. But at this point, you've been working with Jared and his team, and it's kind of a hurry up and wait kind of thing, right?
Right.
I mean, you got things to do, and then you start. When you got things to do, you stop.
Like a flurry of activity. Yeah.
Right. This is the point it starts to get a little more, I wouldn't say hectic, but just more real. You're doing stuff consistently.
Right. Game on, right? Kind of idea.
So just for like a mindset here is it's go time, right? You got to be in a place where you're ready to, like, every day something's going to be going on, because we're going to go through it, but not only are you going to start trying to start your business, hire, grow your business, but you have all the other things that are going on, which is the construction side of things and permitting. So they don't go away. It's just now you have more stuff happening.
Yeah.
So it's a unique time for definitely an owner to get ready for this, but just be prepared. You're going to be doing a lot more probably than you have been up to this point.
Do you feel, based on 100 clubs open now and many more coming through here in the next few months, do you feel that being engaged during this time, because you already stated it's like a flurry of activity and then hurry, wait, flurry of activity, hurry, it's that kind of feel that when it's time to flip the switch, right? It's like, no, now all hands on deck, because you're still building your facility out, and the final checklist and all the things, that's a lot of extra work. Even it's probably more busy in construction, and now you're bringing on a team or whatever those steps are. Do you find that historically people that do jump in and get fully engaged during this time period, is that a reflection of how successful they'll be down the road? Are those two things correlated in any way, or is it does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be more common sense, right? Like the more engaged owners on top of it, excited and can't wait, kind of chomping at the bit, folks. Like they tend to do better.
Okay, I mean, it makes logical sense, but I just didn't know if you'd seen any correlation.
I mean, definitely seen that. I mean, if it's if we have anybody where we're chasing you down to get things done, it's typically not a good sign.
Yeah. Well, and look, we wished that we just signed the franchise agreement, and in your height of excitement, right? 2 weeks later you were in training, but fortunately you're in a brick and mortar business, which I love the tangible aspect of that, but it does take a minute to get the development of the facility. So this will be a good way for us to explain and understand the psychology behind hurry and wait. Okay, now go. This isn't another hurry and wait. At this juncture, it's go. And it's going to be go for a minute. Could be half a year, could be whatever. You just need to be prepared.
Yeah. So it's mindset, get yourself right. It can be a longer journey because everybody's piece of that, again, location, permitting, it's all different and it always is different. And then your own personal life, I mean, stuff happens in 9 months.
Yeah, it does.
It's just kind of the way it goes. So, but preparation for that. But once we find that spot where you're going to be coming to training, which, typically Jared's team's he's going to start really figuring that out 2 to 3 months out. That's when you get handed off to my team. And overall, what's going to happen there is we start with the initial just kind of, we'll say 2-month call where we're going to start going over hiring and all the resources for that. We're going to look at, marketing agencies. So you can start interviewing for that, to your pricing, and getting you ready for like what's going to happen a month from now. Big one, obviously, is the hiring piece. And we've talked probably many times about that and all the tools we have. But that too can be, that's maybe unique to you. A lot of people haven't maybe done hiring. So,
yeah. Well, I always talk about this on the founders call. I'll say there's 2 ways you can screw up this business model. One is you can put it in the wrong location. Then I'll say, as soon as that leaves my lips, you can cross it off your list. And then I explain the whole real estate process and how, there's not much meat on the bone for us in the franchise fee. And like, if we don't get you open in a timely manner and get you to revenue, we also don't make money. So we're fully aligned on the business model, right? For sure. So I'll walk them through that, and so that they understand that we have full control of your real estate, final approval. We do all the heavy lifting, or we walk alongside you for LOI, and we have insurance look at it. And I mean, all the resources you need to get your brick and mortar open. So you can remove that because we're not going to let you put it in a lousy location because we've already mapped the top 150 MSAs in the country. Plus we mapped and awarded last year another 40 locations that weren't even mapped in the just main mapping because we just set this high level criteria and just picked the dead on home run, areas, but there's many more that have developed. And so, yeah, it's a algorithmic formula. We're not going to let you fail there. You've got a whole team. You've got a studio coordinator in your hip pocket. You got Jared running that department. Like, we're not going to let you put it in the wrong place. Got it. Develop studio. Check. Second way you can screw this up, and this is the crux move, and I've been saying this for years, and I will continue to say it years from now. People, they're going to make or break your business, which boils down to you essentially. And so, then I'll say, well, so your ability to attract, hire, and lead good people is going to make or break your business, right? Yep. Period. It's not a lot of people. It's a low labor model, 3 or 4 people in a facility, but they're really important. And so then I'll say, like, if I was you, this would be my question. I always ask them, hey, I'll ask this first question on your behalf. Like, how can I screw this up? Okay, real estate first. You can take that off the list. People, that's on you. But then I also say we'd be remiss not to reveal to you the tools that are at your disposal because we would be, it'd be crazy not to share best practices and resources with our franchisees. But we just can't hire them for them because then it muddies the waters with who they work for. It's illegal to do so. Each franchise is its own LLC. You got to do your own hiring. They're your employees, right? So we have a vendor that can go and find people. A couple of vendors actually that can go into market and help you identify people that are looking for these roles. We've worked with those vendors to help write the job descriptions for these roles. Typically the comp package can be attractive. We don't decide that necessarily, but we do share best practices. And then we also have a full benefits package that we've secured. So you can go to market with a really relevant offer for a fitness person, typically a good lifestyle job as well, with a opportunity to make really good money and to get full benefit. So it's a compelling offer to the right avatar, right? So they'll go, this vendor can go out and find them, and then imagine them culling through a lot of the people that would apply if you just like put a job ad on Indeed or something. It's like you're going to get a lot of people that aren't qualified. But sifting through all of those is a Herculean effort time-wise. And most people that we're working with still have a day job, at least for a time period. And so imagine somebody just putting 4 or 5 good candidates in front of you because they went through a lot of the candidates. So it's like, okay, can we help you find them? Yes. We've talked about best work data. We built a screening apparatus. We spent time and money to figure out the ideal traits for both the director of training, which manager for layman's terms, and a coach. So it's not Myers-Briggs. It's not DISC. It doesn't just tell you who you are. It tells you how you work. And then you can overlay the job role, specifically what would make you successful at this job. And it will pointedly tell you, can sell fitness memberships or can not motivate people to change. And you can see how either director or coach, it's going to be very pointed to that position. So ignore it at your peril. Right. And then lastly, we're teach you guys a system called EOS, and in EOS, one of the pillars is people. A lot of that's how to interview based on the job duties and the core values of Alloy and a simple checks and balances system. So other than hiring them ourselves, that's about as many resources as we can provide you. We can help you find them, screen them, and interview them, but you still have to sit down with that person. So we use the same statement we've often used, which is, when I'm on those founders calls, it's the gatekeeping call to discovery day. I have to imagine that I can see you sitting across the desk from, or sitting down with the ideal face of an Alloy, energetic, outgoing, looks the part, and I have to know that you, as the franchisee, has the ability to say to this person, let's go change the lives of 130 to 150 people who's with me. And I have to know that what I know the ideal face of an Alloy looks like is going to look at you and be like, I can work with this person, right? Doesn't always work out. We've had people that came through the system that were like, they worked in tech in their basement all the time. And I'm like, well, what are your hobbies? And it's like, well, I do go online gaming or Dungeons and Dragons, and all that's fine. But like, that's not going to lend itself well to sitting down with a very extroverted, fitness-minded person. There's going to be a disconnect. So you're probably not going to be able to recruit them onto the team. So it's often that statement that we always say, are you the person that you're looking for? Is looking for, meaning is that person that's looking for that job, are they looking for a person like you to work with, right? So that's our criteria. But yeah, super important. All that goes into like the hiring process. So when we hit these permitting or construction triggers that say, now it's time to hire, to your point, we're going to reiterate all of these resources that you have, because it's been a minute since you heard about this. And so it's a good reminder from us. Yeah.
And honestly, Jared and his team will actually, Jared will give you that information even earlier, right? You're going to have that 3 months out. And then we're going to reiterate it on this first kind of call. But I will say, like, you got to have urgency here. You got to want to go do this, because as you stated, there's a lot that goes into it, and finding a good person, multiple interviews, and sifting, even with the vendors that we have, right?
Yeah, it takes a minute. And then the last thing you want to do is rush your choice of the crux move of the entire investment that you're making. Let's take that seriously. Let's not rush that.
Yeah.
So get started now.
Which we give you necessarily 4 weeks to have that person hired and ready to go. And you also, some clubs will do this, even hire both their main players, say like the coach and the director of training, ready to go for this next call. But you got to have some urgency. You're going to set aside time. It takes time to do interviews. You gave all the resources. Other resource, I can't tell. I don't know how many people actually use this enough. I hope that they do. Is we're a franchise. There is lots of people that have already gone through this process and can give you good, bad, and the ugly of actually finding someone. And it'll help, not that we can't help, but again, the people piece for us is an area I can't talk to your prospect for you. Let me say that.
Right. But we have franchisees that are really willing to share best practices. So lean on your other franchise partners. That's what the strength of a system is. And probably the thing I'm most proud of is our franchisee partners. They're ballers, right? They're really good, and they understand a lot of this. And the ones that are doing well, definitely will connect you to them, and feel free to reach out to anyone. There's a Slack page. You've got some comms channels. People share a lot. So it's like, if you got questions, ask us. If we can't tell you what exactly to pay people, we can just give you comp structures, run comps in your markets for compensation, pricing, things like that. But you still have to make that final decision. And we can't tell you exactly what to do. But again, we'd be remiss not to share best practices. And then you get this whole set of 100 plus franchisees who are already doing it in market, who can really speak to it. So lean on them.
Powerful. So that's a hiring. That's a big piece. Again, we send the information.
That's where you guys start. That's where essentially, in a lot of ways, like training starts with hire your people.
Starts with that. And the next piece of that, and this is all a couple months out, we're going to start having you go through like marketing agencies. Because a big part of the pre-sale play is volume of leads we're going to try to get through like paid social, Instagram, Facebook. This, just like what we talked about with hiring, we have vendors in place, but you're going to have to take the time to go interview them and see who works best with you, right? Who you like. But you want to do that so you're prepared, ready to rock by the time you're coming, to training. And I would even say some clubs here lately have actually turned on their ads before they come to training, which is, just a little extra wrinkle. We haven't put that in the system yet, but it is nice. So there's going to be that piece. The next piece actually may even happen earlier, is we're going to set you up with all your social accounts, your Facebook, your Instagram, all that stuff, so you can start posting.
So your coming soon posts. And we have lots of fodder, videos, pictures, things that you can use for your organic posts before you start creating your own content with your own customers, because they're not in there yet.
Yeah. And Shannon's really good on my team. Like, she'll get you that stuff pretty early, but we're making sure you have it here, because you need to start posting to make yourself look like a legitimate business.
Right.
All right. You got to have stuff on your page to make people, because people are going to go to that, check it out, all those kind of things. And another big one we're going to do in this time is we're going to start trying to narrow down on your pricing. Yep. Right, figure out, like, based on your area, based on personal training your area, we're going to have a set price for those.
A lot of people ask me, like, how we come about that. I'm like, we just run comps in your local market and figure it out.
But you need to know this, because what you need to do here in this time is you need to order your marketing materials. Right. So you need to have your marketing materials and everything set. And again, we have a vendor, like, hey, here you go, pre-sale bundle.
Yeah, one click procurement preset bundle.
Yeah, buy all your stuff. So that's all in the first month's call with my team, right? And we're going to get you on there. We'll get you, start the hiring process, all the marketing agency, the pricing, order your marketing materials, because the next call really, I would say, your pre-sale starts right here. And we're going to sit down and we're going to meet with you again. At this point, you have a director of training or general manager, like you said, and possibly a coach, which I'll just describe this, guys, straight up as just like, this is your sales team, right? This is what you have. You have a sales team to go do a pre-sale in your business. But at this point, we're going to start teaching you or going over organic marketing, where you're going to start literally, after we get off the call, go start beating up your neighborhood.
Right.
Flyering, meeting
explain
businesses.
Just, I mean, for people that are maybe interested in Allo who don't even know what that means, what is organic marketing? I know to us it's a term that we use on the regular, but to other people, what would that mean?
We're going to go start building that brand awareness. We're going to start getting our name out there. We're going to go meet other businesses. We're going to go work events.
So this is essentially boots on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, literally. Yeah.
Blocking and tackling community-based marketing. So the other half of it, by the way, because I'm asked this a lot, what does pre-sale marketing look like? It's like there's a digital spend, which is direct response to, typically we're playing in Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. Google, there's certainly some things we can do organically with the page, and you can really zhuzh up your Google My Business page. All those things will help. But your direct response at a time when there's scarcity and you've got excitement around a pre-sale is really going to be based on Meta. But then there's a whole other segment, and it should be at least half, ideally, of your leads, which is going to come from organic. And that's what you're talking about. Like, we're going to teach them, give them ideas and get them started on community awareness, B2B promos, all the things, playbooks that we already have before they even come to training.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get out. We're going to teach to you how to do it, but you're going to go start again. It's going to build your brand awareness. You're going to go meet other businesses. You're going to work events, table, flyer, all of those things, because you already ordered materials. You hired your team, so you should be going to do this with the goal of it coming to training with at least 100 leads already accumulated or more. We've had more, like 300, 400.
Yeah, I had Mike Jewett on the podcast, and he had like 330 or something like that.
To actually book starting point sessions, which is our sales process. We give you a goal of 20, just to literally get 20, which is a huge leg up. And anybody listen to this, if you're going to pre-sale, you're going to do this, like you do this, it sets the stage for a better pre-sale, let's say, because you're coming here, you already have stuff on the books.
Direct correlation between those two you've seen.
100%.
Okay, so you show up with leads and you've already done your organic marketing and your team was hired on time. You're way out ahead of someone who's lagging or didn't respond quickly, right?
Yeah. You do what Adam's going to work with you on, you're going to be much better off.
Yeah.
Like you started the race, it seems like sometimes ahead of folks, because the ones I have seen that haven't done that, I mean, they're going to be okay, but they're essentially starting at zero when you're already ran a lap.
Yeah, exactly.
kind of thing. So, but we're going to give you a goal, 100 leads, 20 booked SPSs. I think, shout out to Sager. I think he came last training and he had 40 booked already. And I think he signed up like 25 to 30 in his first week. So I mean, just awesome. It's just a different momentum. So like, you got to look at it that way. Like, we're going to get you in your space to start the in-person sales, but your pre-sale starts earlier, right? Like, it's not even earlier in a normal timeline sense, but like he starts on this meeting, right here, which is huge. So that's going to happen. Again, you can have a director and yourself. I mean, there's like, if you're an owner, we're never going to not want you to go do these things. Like you could, like Mike Jewett, he's a great example. Shoot, he was doing it like 6 months before seemingly like training even started.
Yeah, and when you say like, what was he doing? It's like, well, we're going to talk about some playbooks, but really, if you go listen to the podcast I did with Mike, I'm like, well, where'd you start? He's like, well, I went on the alloy store and I bought some gear. And so if I was going to pick up my kids or whatever he was doing, he would just put his alloy gear on. You know, I'm like, okay, so he's like, yeah, but and then he would participate in other businesses, services, go back and listen to that podcast if you're interested. But we're going to teach you a lot of those things, but it's always great when someone just starts on their own just because they're excited about their business. And why would you not?
Oh, I mean, exactly.
You don't have to wait for us to tell you to do it. I mean, promoting your business, I'm just going to say it now. I'm going to call it. Yes, go ahead and do that. We have zero opposition to you promoting the business that you've invested in.
Yeah. I mean, there should be nobody more excited than the actual owner of that facility, right?
Exactly.
So you taking part of it, you doing it, and you could start it as early as you want, quite honestly. Not only is it going to make you appreciate the work that goes into it, you're going to love it, you'll feel more connected to your business, but you're going to be able to teach and hold your team accountable because you've already done it, right?
Yep.
They're going to have the same kind of probably nerves that you had when you walked in, like you talked about with Mike. So 100%, we're going to start working on that. But again, you can do it earlier, and you can also have a full team here, like in terms of, a full-time employee coach can be assisting in this. And I recommend that too, just because it's like more boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, you have yourself as the owner, or maybe you have a spouse, maybe you have an ownership group, and then you've got your team that you've hired. But it's all hands on deck. You've got a critical time period where there's nothing to do but sell. You have full bandwidth to do that. Let's do that. Right.
Yep. So that's going to be there. Other things, big things that are going to happen before you get into Head HQ here to do your in-person training is we have multiple trainings for our softwares, right? So there's going to be like straight up going our CRM, like mind body training, ops training, which is our lead management tool to pretty much everything. We're going to sit down with you, make sure that your whole team can log into every tech that we have to make sure we get, which if you're not a tech person, that could be stressful. So just,
start early, right? Yeah.
Get ready, get into your stuff. But nothing that we have is like overly complicated. But I will tell you the ones that are like in it and playing around with better, not surprisingly, they're more comfortable when they get inside of the building here.
Yeah.
Right. They've used it. Because you're generating leads, you should be using the actual systems themselves. Kind of stuff. So that all happens before training. We set you goals, but it's a big component. And I tell you, if you just kind of sit back on your heels and they're going to show us when we get in the door, you're missing out.
Yeah, and I've always said it's a really good time to learn the skill of community-based marketing, which is a skill that can be learned, and we've got lots of playbooks, but you still got to get out there and do it. To your point, like a lot of people have head trash around walking into another business to talk to people, and you're going to have to overcome that. Well, and practice makes perfect. So get out there and start doing it. What that will do is once the newness of the digital marketing play, certainly for a pre-sale, wears off, right? We've seen typically in any ad campaign, what will happen is it starts out hot and heavy. You need to be ready. And to your point, you've been in the software already. If you've been doing the organics and you're used to using the tools, it's like great because typically digital is fast and furious at the start. And then over time, towards the tail end of the pre-sale, like any campaign, the leads might get a little bit fewer and far between, what have you. And then if you haven't built the skill of the community-based, you've missed out on the opportunity for half, right? And some of those things that will role play, like asking for referrals and all that, like those are things you could be doing early on. And it's part and parcel of community-based marketing, I think, right? It's kind of the same mechanism. Well, what you're learning then is the skill that once digital runs its course, and you can do, get different vendors in the marketing suite, switch plans, and we have pre-designated hooks for after pre-sale. So I'm not saying it's not a digital plan of attack post pre-sale, but let's say you knock it out of the park in your pre-sale and you open doing decent, right? You reach escape velocity, as we always say, right?
Yep.
Good. Well, that community-based marketing that you've laid the groundwork for, it may not be the same direct response as you're getting from digital during a pre-sale, but you're planting seeds that will feed your business long term. So if you do run a good play and you have a lower than average churn rate and all the things, the community-based marketing long-term, if you've got a solid facility, can quite literally keep your business up and running, but you have to learn to do it. And if you wait until digital kicks in, and let's just say digital is very effective at the time, we had a franchisee state this perfectly: don't get drunk on digital, meaning if you only sit back in your office and the only skill set you develop is just playing catch, then when it's time to shift gears, it's like you're learning a skill brand new at the time, when really you had the opportunity to learn it earlier on, and you would have already sown those seeds, and you would already be seeing some of the fruits of that labor now, right? Yep. So to your point, get started early and quick in a meaningful way based on your teachings, or you and Adam and the team's teachings, because that could feed your business long term. And so it's an opportunity to learn something that will be very valuable 2, 3, 5 years down the road in your business. But now's the time to practice.
Yeah. So, I mean, you build your foundation, right? You don't want to because like you said, it's going to only get harder, and leads are going to get more expensive. You're going to get less of them from a digital side. That's just the way it works. But you're going to build a foundation. So when that does happen, you already are inserted, because it takes time to build these relationships, right? It doesn't happen overnight. Another thing that people overlook on this, this will actually help your paid ads.
Yeah,
believe
talk
it or not.
more about that.
Well, I mean, it's all points at contact points before somebody raises their hand. I think it's like 13. It's probably more than that now in like the digital age. Probably 20 points of contact before somebody actually raises their hand. So imagine if you're just running digitally, all stuff they see is maybe on Facebook or Instagram, versus if they see you out at an event, your road sign, your flyer, you're at the farmer's market, then they see your ads. That may be probably the last thing that they click on.
Right.
But that's going to enhance your chances to get somebody to even step up to the plate.
Yep. Great
which
point.
Is huge.
Yep.
Which also, we give you your social accounts. That's going to help there as well. Because what do people do when they look you up?
Yeah, they always, look, everyone's like, hey, website. I'm like, websites, they're not dead, but they're not nearly as popular as they once were. Everyone goes to your socials to see what kind of personality the place has and where they're going. So you should, to your point, this has been set up well in advance. We have lots of fodder for you to post your own stuff. We can do an owner story, meet the team. There's a lot of cool things you can do to make it feel and smell like the local neighborhood gym, which is what we want you to be. And keep in mind, like when you're saying digital, people are like, well, same person saw the ads going to be at the farmer's market. I'm like, yeah, digital is targeted. We're only going to market in a radius around your club that makes sense. So those same people will be at that farmer's market. They will be participating in that 5K for charity. They're in those places that you're going to go and frequent. So it is another touch point, and they probably will see your ads, right?
Well, I was actually had a call with some owners yesterday, and one of the owners, Laurel, she gave a little story of like she does really good kind of organic posts on social herself, and somebody came in and she's like literally told Laurel, she's like, "Oh yeah, you're famous."
That's awesome.
You're all over my my social media stuff. So like they do see it.
Yes.
And when you do that kind of stuff, it's not there's a lot that goes into social, but like kind of post, but it's like telling a story and what we're about and what we're going to do, introduce the team, smiling, fun, all those kind of things. So it's can't be poo-pooed. You got to do it.
Well, and I saw one from you mentioned Saga earlier, who I love. He's just a baller. He's unapologetically just awesome. And he did like a tongue-in-cheek one where he was like going into a place. He's like, I don't need a personal trainer. I can do this. Yeah. And he did the whole mock-up of like, it's sort of like the antithesis of why you do need a trainer, right? It's just really funny. But anything like that, be as goofy as you want, but show the product in a relevant way. Our audience. We got tons of fodder for you again to use, but use your own personality. Feel like that local neighborhood club. And that way, when you do run into them in the community, they'll say something like, oh, you're famous. They're like, oh, I saw you on this goofy video rolling around the floor, talking about how you already know how to work out. It all counts. And at least half of it. Now, we've talked about there's digital, but there's organic marketing, which we talked about. And then there is, the go out boots on the ground. So, but all of it works together, and your paid ads are going to be enhanced by both your organic marketing posts and your organic community-based marketing. Mm-hmm. Those things are all going to come together in this confluence of like this mechanism that's going to bring awareness to your brand and show your personality and our personality as a brand and get people to come in and let you change their lives. And so, yeah, anything else on the lead up?
No, it just, if you take this, like really go get this and you get this like right away, like we'll tell you what to do and you go attack your market. you won't regret it. And if you got to think of this, like you haven't experienced it yet. There's seasons to this where like you're going to be, right now is just a sales time. Like you mentioned, the longer you wait, it's just going to get harder because you have a functioning business. Right. So take full
now you're servicing revenue and you're marketing.
Yeah. So it's just less time, right?
Yeah.
Do the stuff now. Get ahead of it. Like, what do you got to lose?
Yeah. And you own a business, by the way. This is what you signed up for. So I think a lot of it, to your point, Matt, I'm glad you described the psychology of like hurry and wait, because I think if the flow up till now has been like, here, do these few things, and then we're going to have to wait because the landlord's sitting on an LOI or there's permitting happening and there's nothing we can do. So you just kind of like, go back to doing your other job or whatever those things are. But there is a moment when you're going to have to shift gears and it's all hands on deck. And that's what I heard mostly today was like, listen, there's things to be done before you get here that are going to feed your business long term. They're critical. Be ready to go when we say go. Even though up till that point, it's been go, stop, hurry, wait, to your point. Now's not hurry, wait. Now's just hurry, right? Just go. And so that's a great mindset to put people in, I think. And then there's things to be done. It's all mapped out. We're going to tell you what to do, how to do it, everything. But you have to be mentally prepared to go when we say go. Is that fair?
Fair enough.
Let's come back so we don't keep it too long, and we'll do one of what happens when people actually come live to training and what the expectations are for that.
Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you next time. Peace.